You are going to be blown away over these next 15 minutes. Not only is she a powerhouse from inspiration and motivational standpoint, but this woman is also a powerhouse in business. She is an international easy for me to say, motivational speaker. Maybe not at this time of night, it's easy to say. She was the 2018 Women of Essence Global nominee. She's been seen on NBC, Oprah, and Chatelaine. She has climbed the Himalayas and captained tall ships. She's done just a few things in her life. She's also a decorated athlete. But in business, she has represented companies such as Air Canada and Uber in times of crises, helping them to outperform the stock market. And not only that, but she is now the author of the book, Unstoppable You. While she is on stage tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to go social media crazy. I need you on your phones, taking pictures, taking video, putting it all out there, because you want everybody in the world to know that you were here in this audience tonight watching this lady and listening to what she has to say. She is absolutely amazing.
She is.
You are going to hashtag her in all of your posts as well, and I'm going to tell you how to do that right here, right now. It is going to be hashtag Unstoppable Tracy. Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, let me welcome to the stage our last speaker before John Travolta gets here tonight.
Got it.
Unstoppable Tracy Schmidt. Come on out, Tracy.
Well, I'm blown away from that incredible reception, and I found myself listening to her, feeling like the oohs and the ahs myself. I wonder if you guys would humor me, if the folks on this side of the room, if you guys would go ooh when I raise my arm. Oh, I love it. We don't even have to practice. That was so great. Can I ask you folks on this side of the room, when I lower my arm, will you say ah? All right, ready? Here we go. Give yourself a round of applause. That sounded a little more sexual than I thought it would. That is the sound every time I walk into a room in a short skirt. And there's all kinds of oohs and ahs. There's the admiration oohs and ahs, the curious oohs and ahs, the painful oohs and ahs. Well, thank you. And the oohs and ahs of shock as a scuba diver. I've joined Damien, not personally Damien, but jumped out of an airplane. Would really identified with Damien's story. It was so incredible. And you know, those one particular time that I remember saying ooh and ah was in the parking lot of my job. Has anyone ever cried so much that they were crying because they were crying? What made me really sad about that was that I am a massive believer on what you focus on grows. And so I was petrified to be focusing on sadness because I was worried I was going to invite more sadness into my life. So I started racking my brain. What's going to cheer me up? What's going to cheer me up? And I thought about my niece and my nephew, and I loved them, but I was still really sad about losing my job. So then I thought, what, no matter what, gives me a pick-me-up? And it came to me. It was sailing. So it is 11:30 on a Friday. It's October, and there is not a lot of sailing in Toronto, where I'm from. So I Googled sailing, and there was a regatta in San Diego, just a stone's throw from here. It was so great. Every time I'm in this neighborhood, very excellent things happen. And so I got myself at 5:30, after being laid off at 11:30, on a plane to San Diego. Yeah. I landed. The taxi driver said, "Where are you going?" I took a guess. San Diego Yacht Club? And I was lucky. There was a San Diego Yacht Club. I excitedly approached the registration, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Tracy from Toronto. I would love to register for your sailing regatta, your races." And she's like, "Oh, honey, this has been booked for months." And the guy behind me, he said, wait, I'm here with my boat. She can have my spot and my boat. So how lucky was that, right? The universe sets you up for success. I didn't tell the guy that I'd never sailed his kind of boat before. So I practiced all weekend, and the U.S. Paralympic coach was on the water. So I just snuck in and faked it like I was supposed to be there. And on Monday, we had the first real race. And I got a bullet. I got a first. Yeah! It's like, oh my gosh, thank you. So exciting. And so on the flight home, it was during Hurricane Sandy, which devastated a lot of homes in the U.S. And when we were landing, I had one of those life or death moments where I didn't know authentically if I was even going to live. And so I'm like, universe, if I live, I want to pursue my Paralympic dream. And the plane, it just landed seamlessly. All the turbulence stopped. And it could have been coincidence, but I took it to mean that I had to do this. So it's a week after getting laid off of my job, and I decide I gotta do it. So I land at 5:30, and at 7:30, I am phoning Canadian Paralympic medalists to find out how can I get on the Canadian Paralympic team for sailing. They were very positive about my race, but they were saying, you gotta have a boat, you gotta have money, you gotta have coaches, you gotta have 10,000 hours. Tracy, you've gotta be realistic. It's just no way. And my gut said, you gotta go. And so I asked them, I said, what would it take in an impossible situation? They said, forget a Paralympic coach. You would need a gold medalist, 24/7, living in his back pocket every day. Oh, there we go. And so I said, do you know any? I think they thought they talked me out of it. They said, the only one is Magnus. He's in Miami, Florida, but he's a gold medalist. He trains all the high performance people. And so Magnus is the name. I say thank you very much. And I do one of the JT Fox techniques. I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, decide. You gotta go. So I Googled Magnus Lidgedal. And I phoned him, I tweeted him, I LinkedIn him, I emailed him, I MySpaced him, I upspaced him, I roundspaced him. I got nothing. I decided to look up Kijiji, and I put my bed and my dresser and all of my belongings, anything that wasn't going to fit in my car, on Kijiji to fund my trip down there. And so I reached out to my family to tell them where I was going, and I thought they'd be super supportive, and they loved me to no end, but they responded angry, and my friends were upset, and I just kept getting angry messages and everyone saying, Tracy, you gotta be realistic. And I just knew that I had to go. So I got in my car all alone without anybody saying goodbye. And, you know, all of us from all around the world, we all know how expensive those roaming charges are right now, right, for our telephones. So once I crossed the border from Canada into the US, I didn't even have a cell phone to communicate with anybody. So every night in my motel, I tried to reach out to Magnus. I still got nothing. I got to Jacksonville, Florida, the night before arriving in Miami. And I say, Magnus, I'm so sorry to be harassing, but I want you to know that I'm arriving tomorrow. He finally replied. He said, if you come, we got boats. Yeah. I'm so excited. So I wake up early, I pull in first thing in the morning. Guess who's out of town? Magnus. Well, I had lost my job. My sister was so angry I was going because she loves me and she was afraid for me. And so in an argument, I took the last $11,000 that I had in savings and I said, here's my next 11 months rent. No burden, no ties. So I gave her all my money. I only had what was in my wallet and I'd spent it all in motels heading down there. So I saw 2 really big boats, and I pulled my car up, and I parked in between the 2 big boats, and I slept in my car. So I was there bright and early the next morning, right on site, and Magnus Lidgedal was washing a boat. So I run up, I'm like, hi, I'm Tracy from Toronto. And he was polite, he's like, hello. But he didn't really have any time for me because he's a gold Olympic sailor and coach. Well, I washed boats, ran errands, bought his lunch, did his invoices for 3 months. And he never sailed with me once. I slept in my car, on balcony, on boats for 3 months. And then my magical AV team, click. They'll catch up. So I was on the dock one day, whipping some lines, taking care of some frayed lines, and this boat was coming in really fast and really hot and heavy. And everybody, all these gold Olympic trialists are running around screaming at him and not saying anything. And obviously, this poor fella doesn't know what to do. So I shout out. I'm like, let off your mainsail, the line in the middle. Push the boom, back the sail. Head to me. Because I was where the wind was coming from, and that would depower his sails. Well, he head to me. He stopped dead at the dock. It was so easy for me to just tie it off. Well, guess who was watching from the top of the area? Is there a picture yet? No. Come on, picture fellas, will you give me a hand? So Magnus saw me, and he's like 7 feet tall, massive, strong Viking, and he lumbers down onto the dock, and I'm sitting on the dock, and he's looking down at me. And Magnus says, Tracy, you can sail. Yes, Magnus, I can sail. He said, come on, let's go sailing. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. This was me on that dock that day, doing some tweaks for Magnus. So now I'm going to click again. So now, I think if I press click, it's going to be a little just rolling boat. If the video works, if it doesn't, it's okay. That's all right. Either the quote or the picture. Magnus phoned me this morning on Skype to wish me luck today. Yeah, all these years later. Yeah, it's so great. He's like, thank you, the brother I never had. From 2011 to 2016, I sailed in 131 training camps and regattas, and I had many crashes and accidents and sinks, all sorts of things. And I'm still sailing, and I made it to the Paralympic trials. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You can't see Magnus in this picture, but that's his hand. Magnus said, forget the Paralympics. If you want to beat the other Paralympians, you need to sail in world-class cup regattas. So Magnus got me into World Cup regattas. I sailed in Melbourne and in Miami and all around the world in able-bodied World Cup regattas. Yeah! He's like, yeah! What's your name in the blue tie in the middle row there? Tim? For those of you that can't see Tim, he's a pretty big fella. Big and strong and tall, and not half bad looking. Of the 40 boats on that starting line, 37 of them looked like Tim. Most of them able-bodied. 7 of them had a disability. I was one of the 7. One of them was missing a foot. One of them was missing a thumb. A couple of them paralyzed from the waist down. I call that paper cuts. Thank you. So we got to laugh when we don't have a leg to stand on, in business as well. I'm glad you got the jokes. But the trick is, keep at it. If I can do it, you can do it. No excuses. No, I'd like to go back one. And I'd like to say, no excuses. Blast those barriers and those obstacles. 3 keys to being an unstoppable you. My limitless secret. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So if you are looking for business results that are as fast as this bobsled, exponentially super fast, exceeding, and you want to know how to do it? Jump in the bobsled with me in the pink and my 3 bobsled friends. Certainty, possibility, and independence. Write this down. You'll regret it if you don't. Exceed uncertainty. When I started sailing, I don't sail with my legs on because I swim with my legs off. So when I started sailing, I was a weeble wobble doll. I kept falling out of the boat. We all fall out of the boat, even in business. Just get back in the boat. Who knew that first summer when I didn't even get a white sail level 1 that I would be a World Cup sailor? Yeah! Embrace possible. I need the Canadians in the room to help me. Woo! Okay, Canadians. So Canadians, will you sing with me the Bare Naked Ladies song, If I Had $1 Million, just the first 2 lines? If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million. So you can see I'm a speaker, not a singer. So now, we don't say if, we say we've got it. Say, with my $1 million, you'll buy Tracy a boat. So when I started skiing, it was on a run called OMJ in Corner Brook, Newfoundland. It stands for Oh My Jesus. I believe there's a picture of it, the next slide. Nope, that's okay. So this Oh My Jesus ski run is just like what we say when we take on a new adventure, or we quit our jobs to be entrepreneurs, or you invest mega bucks to stay in this incredible Disney hotel because you know it's exactly the thing you need to expedite your business because you are embracing that possibility. You guys are boycotting what the norm is because you know that's the way to succeed. I went on from skiing on OMJ in the trees 12 times, wearing men's boots backwards on my thighs, to getting a bronze medal in downhill skiing. Thank you. And then you earn independence. So besides this photograph, which is a terrible shot of my behind in a harness, what you don't see in this picture is that there's someone on my lifeline. There's someone that's got my back. For all of us here, that is Damien and Joey and Jason and the JT Fox organization, JT himself, that is our lifeline. And better yet, we are all of each other's lifelines. When we're out there and we feel all alone hanging off that cliff, we set up and organize our lifelines. I went from Thunder Bay, Ontario, that first time climbing and rappelling, to climbing the Himalayas and teaching in schools in Nepal. Earning independence is not about doing it alone. It's about leveraging those relationships. It has been so fun. Having uncertainty does not mean not taking action. Courage is not without fear. It is in spite of fear. I am unstoppable, Tracy. Hashtag me anywhere. I would love to be your lifeline. Thank you.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh my God. Oh,
Awesome.
my God.
Oh,
look
so
at you guys.
awesome.
Oh, wow.
So amazing.
Holy cow. Oh, my God. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you. Oh,
Amazing.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.